Charles Gregory, can y'all hear me loud and clear? How are you?
Hey,
There
Hey,
we go. We got everybody in the building. Boy, Charles Gregory, the beautiful,
Lauren Sizzle.
beautiful.
Classy Lady Sparkle.
That's right. And this is We Talk Weekly. We're going live, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lady has died in the building. She jumped off for a minute, but we'll bring her back in a minute. And so we're going to jump right into it because we got a dynamic show. We got a few people watching, and this is the first time that we're doing our live. Our live straight from home. We passed everybody in, and we're using a different system, so I'm excited about seeing how this pans out. If you got any for all our viewers and listeners, if you have anything, we're actually streaming live on our YouTube channel, so shout out to our YouTube channel. Also, I went to our YouTube channel and seeing that we're actually live and we're doing some great things over there, as well as our Facebook live. So if you're on our Facebook live and you got any questions, just send us some questions, post them in a comment, and we'll make sure that we'll shout you out. We'll make sure that we'll do some things for you. But most importantly, stay tuned because we got a dynamic show for you today. So without further ado, before we go into anything, I gotta ask you, ladies, how was your day? How was your day?
Um, just staying in, trying to stay dry. It's been raining all day.
No doubt.
Trying to stay dry. What else can you do?
Mm-hmm.
Play some games, try to find something new to do, find something new on Netflix or
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. What about you, Classic Lady Spark?
It was crazy. I do nothing but clean up, sterilize everything. My son's been dealing with asthma, so I just been cleaning like a mad woman because I think the news is starting to make me anxious now.
Yeah, I think the news is starting to make everybody anxious right now. I'm not sure. At this point, when they talk about media literacy, they talk about how can you sift through all of the mess, all of the fake stories. So you don't know what's going on out there, man. You don't know what's real, what's fake, what's anything, and it's just one of those things, man. But I'm glad you guys are staying safe. It looks like Lady S dot jumped in. Let me pull Lady S dot in there. Lady S dot. Where you at? It's on. Yeah, I'm not seeing you. Where you at, lady? Holla at me. All right, so we'll wait for her to get back in because I think she did something. She came back in, and now I can't pull her feed in. But that's all right. We'll make sure everything is all right. But in any event, so you know, um, let's jump right into. Let me see. Having some tech. There we go. There she goes. It's classic lady. Yes. There we go. I think your other feed ain't working too good. Fix your mic. And something wrong with your mic,
unmuted it.
lady. There
It was
we go.
I was muted.
Okay, no doubt. There we go. So, before we go into the show, Classic Lady Sparkle was about to go into, what she was going to do as it relates to good news, bad news. But how was your day, Lady Esther?
Oh, my day was good, man. Social distancing. That's what it's all
Yeah,
about. I was out all day running around trying to
yeah, no
keep
doubt.
my distance from people. So my mom would try to go to Home Depot, and it was a line outside because they were only letting a certain amount of people in the store at a time.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize places were doing that. However, I went into the Acme, and that place was packed, bumper to bumper. I was like, they need to be doing that in here.
I know that's
So
right.
it's been one of them days. And then it's raining. It's cold and raining, and they got a line outside. Everybody's staying outside with masks on.
In the rain.
In the rain.
I know, right? It's crazy.
So we making it do what it do.
Making it do what it do. Definitely make it do what it do. So let's jump right into it. Come on, Spark. Holla at me.
All right, we
Man.
got your good news and your bad news. Now, everybody want to hear this news. This is your stimulus check. We're getting a little bit of cash up in here from the government. All right, let's get right into it. Congress has given final approval for a $2 trillion coronavirus stimulus package. For those who earn $75,000 or less, y'all qualify for $1,200 one-time payment. For couples who file jointly making $150,000 or less, you get $2,400. Dependent children are eligible for $500 each under the age of 16. So you got to be under 16 years old for the parent to get that eligible child. This information will be based on your 2019 income filing. But for those who have not filed, like myself, they're going to base it off your 2018 filing. Right. If you have not filed your 2018, then it could affect you getting a check. Wow. If you get SSI, Social Security Disability, or SSI, then you will receive a check. And again, if you get direct deposit as well, because they're going off of your Social Security number. Now, if you make $75,000 and you're single with no children, or if you're 150 married, if you make more than $75,000 or $150 married, you are eligible, but you will need to calculate what that is. So basically, if you make 80K, you get 950, 85K, 700, and so forth. Single people, though, everybody who wanted that 6 figures, if you make 99K with no dependents and couples making over 198K with no children, you don't get nothing. People that owe the IRS.
Ready.
That was going to be my question.
What?
That was going to be my question. What if you owe?
If you owe the IRS, since IRS has suspended garnishing the repay of debts, you should be eligible to receive a stimulus check.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Unemployment people will receive a stimulus and an extra $600 on top of their state benefit, depending on what state you live in, if you lost work due to the coronavirus. Now, if you lost work and they just fired you because you was tardy and all that, you're not getting it. But if you lost your job because of childcare, not able to come to work, public transportation, all of that, you will get your stimulus, and they giving you extra money on top of the unemployment.
Wow.
Nice.
College students, one of my kids, 24 years old, full time, and she is my dependent. She ain't getting squat. No money. No, and then parents
share that check with her.
She talking about she gonna buy a new car. You ain't getting no money. Parents who owe back child support, zero. They get nothing. Yep. So the money is expected to be sent out within the next 3 weeks. If you do not have direct deposit, you may get your money in 3 to 4 months.
Oh wow.
Yep.
This time you got a job, you back working.
you might be like, hey, I wanted it. So again, $2 trillion. Out of that $2 trillion, $350 billion has been set aside for small businesses, and then $100 billion has been set aside for hospitals, the for-profit and nonprofit hospitals. So that's some good news. I just say this: everybody who's starting a business, I got love for y'all, but I can't support everybody. Like,
yeah.
I got like too many people coming at me talking about they can support. All this time they building their business plans. I can't support everybody, so I'm gonna be telling people. So that was the good news. Y'all ready for some bad news?
Give us the bad news.
All right, here goes the bad news. A woman is arrested for pranking the coronavirus. A 35-year-old woman named Margaret Circle of Pennsylvania has been arrested for allegedly intentionally contaminating groceries.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta laugh at this. Circle was in the grocery store in Hanover Township, and she intentionally coughed and spit on food in the grocery store and yelling and claiming that she has the coronavirus.
Unbelievable.
The owner states, where there is little doubt that this woman is doing a very twisted prank, we will not take any chances with our customer. The store owner threw out $35,000 worth of produce, meat, and other essential items.
Wow.
She was arrested. She was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of terroristic threats using a biological agent. For them to even find out to do that, the biological agent, I was like, wow. And 1 count of criminal mischief. She was taken to a mental hospital first to be evaluated, and then sent to Luzerne County Prison, where her bail was set at $50,000.
Wow.
So people can't be going. It's like going to a bank talking about this is a pickup. You play with that, they're gonna get you on biological agent contamination.
Yeah.
Yep.
They need to, and that's just disgusting, literally disgusting. I mean, for someone to, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen some of the past videos where you had some people going into the restaurants and going into supermarkets and opening ice cream and licking it and putting it back in. Now that was actually before this whole corona scare.
Yeah.
But imagine now, I mean, just people are mentally just discombobulated, and it's a lot going on, and for people to hear and see that, negative.
Yeah, I think this is going to do away with even the handshake, maybe. Even at business meetings.
Listen, some of the brothers, I already walked to a couple brothers and we doing this. What's up, my brother? We giving the elbows. What's good, bro?
Yeah, I'm going like,
hashtag bros elbows. You did, real talk. Man.
Well, that was your good news and your bad news, Classy Lady Sparkle.
And that was the good news and bad news, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Charles Gray with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle.
Got a lady has died. I don't know how you gonna pull in. How you gonna pull in some music? What's going on? Look at it. I can't pull in no music. You should have had that other stream going. You know what I mean? So what's up? What you got, Sizzle? You got some music for us? You want to try pulling some music for us? For all the people listening to.
Ooh.
Let me know. Am I still there?
Yeah, you still there.
Did my screen go away?
No, you good. We see you loud. We see you. Hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. All right, so I got a little. Let's see if it's gonna play a little. Travis Scott, Highest in the Room.
There we go.
She fill my mind up with ideas.
Okay, that went out real quick. I don't know what happened to Travis Scott, but it's all good, Travis Scott. You just went out there. Yeah, it's all good. Let's just go right into some conversation because we're gonna have to be waiting for the music coming and we going in and out. We got some hearts and everything. That's all right. Let's pull it out. Well,
that was me.
That's all right. Pull it out. It's all good. It's all good.
That's why it did that. Did it stop playing?
Yeah, it stopped playing. We couldn't hear it over here. You know what? We live too. We got a couple other people jumping in. So shout out to Chanel. Shout out to the Salsa Syndicate. Shout out to Mikey. And shout out to Helen. Shout out to Tyrese. We got a lot of people actually looking and following. I don't know if you can see the people in the left corner right above me. Actually looking and following. We can actually send this out live in the streaming live. So I'm excited about that, man. Can y'all see that?
I see it now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some live comments instead of private chat.
Yeah, so we got a few people. I don't know. They sending some comments through here.
Oh, you don't see it? I heard live comments first.
Where you were typing.
Yeah. Okay, Jacoby. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. And Lily must be on somebody shouting this out from the We Talk Weekly Facebook page. So I'm no doubt about that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that has been happening. I'm gonna share my screen. Actually, the Sizzle actually did a good little video when we were over Clash Lady Sparkle House doing the social distancing thing, and she was talking a little bit about what was it? I think what was it, Sizzle? About let's see if I'm gonna bring it back up.
Kind of talking about how people were just upset at Kim Kardashian because they claim that she's culture appropriating with her braids. So, Brandy and Ray J, they were doing an interview on The Talk, and they were asked what they thought about Kim Kardashian culture. Was she culture appropriating with her braids, or should she be okay? And Brandy said she felt like she was all right. She didn't feel like she was culture appropriating, and Ray J said that he felt like Black women should take it as a compliment. So
Yeah.
it's like she's making it go global. So Black women should take it as a compliment. Is
Yeah.
not verbatim, but that's what Ray J said. So
Yeah, he
a lot of people
probably shouldn't have said that.
yeah, she was getting dragged on Twitter.
Mhm.
Stop with the edges and stop with the culture appropriating with those braids. Because she was at Yeezy's season 8 in Paris or something like that. And then they were like, stop with the culture appropriating with those braids. You will never be a Black woman.
No doubt. So let's go. I'm just going to share this page, bring this right in for everybody to take a look at. This is Lawrence Hizzle talking about the cultural appropriation in the braids. Tell me what you guys think.
Is there any volume?
You can't hear it?
No.
It sounds
Well,
loud to me.
the braids. So, yeah, but Vashti said, yes, she doesn't respect the culture, and all the family does is still Black people's culture and fetishes Black men.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can agree with that because, you know, they get a pass for what we have been doing for years. Meanwhile, we get called ghetto when we get called so many names because that's a part of our culture and we're just trying to be ourselves. We're, you know, rocking the braids and stuff like that and the afros, and now the natural hair is in. And we get a hard way to go from our non-minority counterparts. We get a hard way to go. So I just feel like, I mean, I could kind of see like, all right, she is married to a Black man. As I was saying in the video, she is married to a Black man. I guess maybe she wants to relate with her husband and her kids, but she's going to have a tough time, I feel like, trying to do that because people are just going to continue to come for her. Like, because we've had Black women have had such a hard way to go. We've been torn down so much about just being ourselves and you know, appreciating our culture. And we've been given such a hard time about that.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about that? You know, do you think potentially that you know, because she's been getting a lot of flack as it relates to cultural appropriation, like if it's not about her braids, it's about her lips and her body, even dating Kanye West. What do y'all think about that? You know, do you believe that she's culture appropriating, or do you believe that, you know, she just happened to be with a Black man and it is what it is?
I think that to me, I don't see a problem with them wearing the braids, but I feel like just like when you write a paper, give the citation of where the source come from. You know, like we wear our hair in a straight way sometimes to make it bone straight or whatever, and then the Europeans could say, "Oh, well, we're trying to be like them." But if you're wearing your hair in an ethnic way, and you know where it derived from. Say, yeah, I'm wearing my hair like the Africans, the Egyptians, and I just love their culture and I'm rocking it. Then I think it's more acceptable. But when you're trying to almost like create it as if it's your own, you doing plagiarism and you getting left.
There was even somebody that tweeted out saying, Classy Lady Sparkle, just what you said, like, you're posting pictures of your hair. You didn't even credit the hairstylist.
Right, exactly. Right.
She didn't credit the hairstylist.
Right.
So, yeah.
Not only that, I don't think you heard when she said, I'm rocking my Bo Derek braids.
Bo Derek braids.
You know, Bo Derek don't look like us, right? And Bo Derek actually got her braids from, people who look like us. So, it was ironic that she said her Bo Derek braids. And if you look at people like even I think Cicely Tyson had braids before. You talking about some of the major, actors back then had braids, and so, Bo Derek can be called out as culture appropriating, right? Especially as it relates to the big beads that she used to have on her braids.
But see, here's the other thing, and I know Lady S. Dot and Sizzle can relate. When we were growing up, if we wore our hair with the two braids, when we were kids, it was different. But then when we start to get older, you can't go out there with that on. You can't go out there with the roller in your hair. Everything that Black women did, it was considered, that's ghetto. Oh, that's ratchet. And now these very things that we were told we shouldn't or couldn't do are being done. And like, now it's like in another light of, this is I don't know, like urban, or this is now chic and this is sleek. And I just think that's the part that really upsets me, that certain things that wearing beads in my hair and all of that, that's considered ratchet. That's not considered,
it's finally cool now.
Until another
finally cool
decides they do it. And I was actually this is kind of the same topic with a little sidebar. I was actually like on Instagram and I saw something that The Real had posted. They posted a segment where Gina Arnold, no, not Tashina Arnold, Gina from Martin.
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell, yes.
She's always going to be Gina to me.
Tisha Campbell was on there and she was talking about how when she first started acting, she would show up to the set and she said there was one white woman that was a hairstylist and she said, I hate doing Black girls' hair. It feels like pubic hair.
What?
So after that, Tisha Campbell said she started showing up in wigs with her hair already done, so she wouldn't have to worry about somebody that wasn't a minority doing her hair.
Wow, unbelievable, unfreaking believable. That's that. Cut it out, man. When you talk about.
I can't.
I'm trying to stay. I'm gonna stay politically correct today because I'm not gonna jump in my bag today because we got a dynamic interview that looks like she just joined us and we're about to pull her in a minute. Thanks for joining in. She's waving to us. I'm gonna bring her in a second. But before we bring her in, this beautiful young lady, she already smiling. I can see from here. Why don't you, Sizzle? Why don't you tell us who do we have today?
So we have Shalay Jean-Baptiste.
Jean-Baptiste. Yeah, no doubt.
She's the author of 3 books, and she can speak on her expertise on various subjects, including the process of healing herself and forgiveness after divorce, which she caught her husband in bed with another woman. Overcoming sexual molestation and abuse and the consequences that it had on her self-worth, esteem, and relationships, and the importance of telling your authentic story, pushing yourself to be vulnerable, free, and unashamed. She says 40 isn't the new 20. Somebody lied to us. She's a single mother. Her journey, a single mother's journey is what she talks about, to push past her fears of loneliness, to experience self-love and success without all the BS. Us women often settle for what we shouldn't because of fear of being alone and starting over. So welcome to the show, Miss Jean-Baptiste.
Welcome to the show.
You're joining us.
But it's all good,
Say it again.
Huh?
What did she say?
I said, I'm so sad I didn't get to see you in person.
I know.
I know.
No, we gotta
We got to do a redo. You know, part
Yeah.
two.
Yes.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, welcome to the show. I just want to welcome you to the show. And this is always my favorite segment of the show because we get the opportunity to speak to the good old folks, you know, and talk a little bit about their stories, but also when it comes to like people who look like us, I like to give them the opportunity to, you know, be a part of a platform that are getting some views, that are being I guess engaged and active citizens
Yes.
in the communities to give that outlet for people like yourself, the entrepreneur, and people again who has those stories. So again, welcome to the show. Really
Thank
appreciate you.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's jump right into, you know, you and some of the things that, you know, you're doing as it relates to your book first. And then before we get into that, right, let's talk about how you got there, those steps to make you say to yourself, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is something that I want to talk about.
Sure. Well, actually, this is my third book. I've always been a writer by nature, so it was easy for me to, you know, make the decision to do this book because I have like been telling stories and been loving other people's stories for the longest time. So this last book that I did called Black from Scratch is actually a book that details Black people's stories. So we're actually it's a photography coffee table book that has a lot of photography in it. You can see the pictures of people. That was important to me because I wanted to show Black people in all different kind of hues and shapes and sizes and with braided hair, with weaves, whatever you got, and how beautiful we are, and to also tell a piece of their story. And so to show that we're overcomers and that we can just innately in us, we have the ability to persevere and be great.
Right, fantastic. And so, you know, you have been seeing a lot of the things that's going on as we talk about perseverance and people who look like you, more specifically Black women of color, right?
Yeah.
What is your feelings on you know, getting, you know, empowering Black women and getting them into the entrepreneurship and the lane of even potentially writing a book?
I mean, I think it's so important to do that. You know, I don't know if you saw the movie Self Made.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did we lose her? There we go.
It's so powerful to show those type of movies that Black women are wonderful and successful entrepreneurs and what we have to overcome. But even before the movie came out, I always think it's important because of the times that we live in for Black women to understand that we must have our own, right? That we must have our own place, we must have our own space, and that we do have power. You know, we're not living in the 1950s, 1960s anymore, you know, even 1970s, where our kind of existence depended on a man, right? And I think that, and even back then, our existence didn't depend on a man, but that was the story that was being told a lot, right? That we were dependent on a man for our success, for our names, for power. So I think it's very important that we show ourselves to be self-sufficient and powerful, and you know, very you know, able to do things in our own lane, with our own voice, with our own skin, and with everything that we maintain and come without. And now this is maybe controversial, without overstepping the power and the beauty and everything that a Black man can also bring to the table.
Right. Fantastic. Now, how do you feel when it comes to your comparison, or how do you feel like you're compared to Black men who potentially, or not even Black men, but just men as it relates to becoming authors and having their having opportunities, so to speak, to be first in, you know, becoming author versus women? Do you feel like there's a competition? Do you feel like they have more opportunities? What's your position on that?
I don't even believe in the word competition.
I know that's right.
I don't even believe in that word.
Good
You know what
job.
I'm
Good job.
saying? Because I feel like, you know, brother and sister, if you bake a cake and I bake a cake, guess what? Your cake gonna taste different than mine. It don't mean that I both our cakes are not good.
There
I
you
can
go.
support your cake, you can support mine too. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
The only thing that I believe in when it comes to competition is if you're trying to tear down somebody, right? And that to me is, you know, has evil intentions attached to it. And it has jealousy most of the time and envy when I'm trying to compete with you now because I want something that you have, or I feel like you're threatening me. I've gotten to this point in my life where I never feel threatened. You know, I'm celebrating sisters and brothers that are writing books and becoming authors and that are entrepreneurs and doing businesses because there's no one out there like you, and you are uniquely you. And so even if God gives the same message to 10 people, nobody can tell it like you. So no word, competition is not even in my vocabulary. And I'm an English professor, so.
Fantastic. So how does that you being an author and looking at your students, do you feel a need or obligation to empower some of the people or some of the students to do more than just go to school? Because that's what we have been taught as long as we have been going to school, go to school, get a job, work for somebody else, retire, 401k or your retirement, and then pretty much die, So what's your thoughts on that?
That's a great question because I always tell my students the first day of class how I worked in corporate America. I was a writer before I became a professor, and I was there for 5 years. And I probably would have made, if I would have stayed there because I was very young, I was maybe like 21. And if I'd have stayed there, I probably could have been a CEO by now, making $250,000. But I felt like, or more, maybe the first Black CEO of some companies. But I felt like it wasn't my calling. And so, I was doing this great thing. I was writing for this financial service firm, and I was doing great things. It wasn't what I loved, and I wasn't really truly happy doing it. So I left the company, and I took a risk, became an adjunct professor, taught a little high school here and there before I actually landed into the job that I have now as the full-time professor. And I tell them that story because I want to let them know that, first of all, money should not choose your career, but also to let them know that everybody's path is different. So of course, I want my students to go to school and get an education because it's the way of the world now, but everybody's not made for college education, right? Some people are great with their hands. Some people are visual. And so I'm really encouraging my students to find your gifts, find your niche, and go with it, and don't let it go, and don't let the naysayers stop you. Me leaving a great job, a great company was a risk. I struggled for a couple of years. I remember because I had 2 children, and I was about to have another child. I had to at one point get Medicaid assistance just so my children would have health coverage, right? Children Medicaid program. But it was the greatest thing I did because I pushed myself to my destiny, and I'm actually doing what I love. So yeah, it's not about school. I think at the end of the day, I always say college education teaches you more than what you learn in the classroom. It's also a learning about yourself, right? You grow just being in an environment with other people. Being challenged to be with people that may not think like you is a growth in itself. It's an education in itself. So I don't like when people think of school as just the classes that you take or the majors that you major in. Being in college to give you a holistic kind of education.
I love that. I love that. I love that you said that. If you in understanding that people make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
As they grow up, because they get wisdom, they fall and they get back up, or they make a mistake and learn from that. What's one thing that you can say that that if you could, what you know now, if you knew then, what would you do differently?
Wow. I don't know if I would do anything differently. Another word I don't believe in is regret. So I don't know if I would do too much differently because I think everything I went through had to prepare me. But if I would say anything I would do differently, I would choose wise relationships with people. Friendships. I would be wiser in my choices because I made some dumb decisions, kind of just being young and dumb. And I was raised. My mother loved me. My father loved me. So I thought the world loved me. And then you find out the hard way that everybody don't love you. And some people are really jealous of you, believe it or not. And some people want to see you fail, even your brothers, okay, and your sisters, okay, because all skin ain't kin.
I know that's right.
And I had to learn that the hard way. So I would be more strategic in my relationships, and I would treat every moment like a precious moment. Because I remember I went to college at 16, so I went very young, and it was really just a way to get out of my house. I wanted to escape my mom. She was overprotective and very strict at that time. And I was like, yes, freedom. But I went through it so fast, and I didn't enjoy those moments that everybody was having fun with. And I didn't, so when I look back, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have enjoyed that a little bit more and not been in such a rush to grow up and pay these bills that I'm paying now, right? So, yeah, relationships are important. Who I choose to be in relationship with, who I choose to be in connections with, being wise and strategic about that, and also, enjoying every moment of life. I look at my kids now who are teenagers, and I'm like, oh my God, I miss the moments that I wish I could go back and get. We just can't go back and get time.
So since you mentioned relationships, how did you heal yourself from how? Because I'm sure everyone wants to know, after you caught your husband in bed with another woman, how did you heal from that? Did you ever think that you would heal from that? And just talk about the forgiveness part.
Yes, that's a good question. I'm telling you, I never ever thought I would heal from that. I just want to be honest, okay? Like, even when I look at myself now, I'm like, God, you brought me through that? Like, thank you, But I will tell you, it was time. Time heals things. I accepted responsibility for my part. And not to say that I was at fault for whatever happened. That's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I accepted responsibility for me allowing certain things to happen that caused me to think that I deserve to be treated like that.
Wow.
For so long, because me catching him in the bed was just the icing on the cake,
Mm-hmm.
all of the signs. Usually it's not, usually doesn't hit us by surprise, right? We tend to overlook a lot of things. And then when we look back, you're like, well, I let him get away with this and this and this, and I thought this was okay. And so I had to really go through the process of healing myself, right? And so I went through therapy for a couple of years. That helped tremendously. I had a strong Black woman that really just gave it to me. She taught me about boundaries and loving myself. And so that was part of my healing process. But also, just me praying and having a strong family, a strong support network of girlfriends that was like, girl, you don't deserve that. I know you got 3 kids by him in your home, and I know you love him, and you don't deserve that. So I think forgiveness is something that people always say, just forgive, and I always say that it's important to be angry first. That forgiveness is not just something that rolls off the tongue. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. Don't let anybody lie to you, right? I had to go through my process of grief and anger and being disappointed until I realized that this is just hurting me if I don't forgive them. It's just hurting me. I'm becoming more bitter if I don't learn how to forgive.
Wow.
Yeah, that's heavy. So let's talk about that. Let's bring that in a little bit. Let's expand that as it relates to. Looks like we lost classy lady Spark. Jump back on if you can. The moment, right? If you could, or this must be in your book, the whole process of you finding your husband in bed. That's in your book, right?
No, I don't talk about that whole thing.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
forgiveness part just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you I don't want to rehash some of the emotions, but
it's okay.
okay, good. So let's walk through the point where you opened the door and did you know that this was happening and you came, or did you happen to, how did that work? How was that process?
Well, it wasn't in my house, thank God,
Okay.
right? But it was still the pain is still real, because
Right.
we were still married, we had kids. We were actually separated, but we were still dealing as husband and wife, doing everything husband and wife does. And so he came to visit the kids, and he kind of used an excuse that he had to stay someplace else. So kind of like alerted me like something's not right, right? And I had
Right.
to get early with the children. And when I came back later to speak to him, he was in the bed with somebody else sleeping. So let me say, okay, I feel blessed because I think of other women who have been in this situation have snapped. And that is a snapping moment. Like, you don't know what you would do if you were in that situation. Just trust me in that. Because I don't even remember some things that happened. Like, I just turned red, literally. I don't even remember everything. I just remember going into a rage, right?
Wow. Right.
And it was like, how dare you? I was so hurt. and devastated. And you know, I call it one of my greatest blessings though when I talk about it, because I was living a private lie. And after this happened, because I was a college professor and I was in the community, the local newspaper actually put up there, like with a picture of me, that I got arrested because, whatever, I got into this altercation with my husband. Nobody, they didn't put in there, I caught him in bed with a woman, right? So,
of course not.
Of course not. That's a long story. But, it was, and at that time, I was like so sick. I was like, God, maybe in my life, I'm going to lose everything I worked for. And I was feeling like dying, like this death had come upon me for that short moment. And I was like, not only am I lose my family, but I may lose my job. And, I was just sick. And it forced me to look back, though. It forced me to look back. How did I get here? And I believe that God exposed that so that way I was able to now decide that I wasn't going to lie to myself anymore about anything. And that became the point in my life where I made the decision that it was better to be a public whatever than to be a private lie.
Wow.
And I'm going to live in my truth.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well,
major.
Salute to you for being that forgiving and that humble to even share that story, because I know that was a pretty heavy story. Now let's jump right into your book, because I want to give you the opportunity to talk about that.
Okay.
Right? Let's just give us a little summary of the book. I don't want to get too far into the book because I want people to get that. But tell us the name of the book. Tell everybody the name of the book and give us a little summary.
Okay, great. I have 3 books actually. My first book is called Black Justice Stain, and that was basically a short story poetry book. It's really for women. It's really talking about different women in different situations. And it was geared to basically to talk about how women, we go through so many things. So black dresses, if you wear a black dress and somebody throws something on it, you don't see the stain on it. So that was the whole concept behind it, was that as we as women, we wear the scars and nobody even knows it. We wear the mask very well, right? We keep on moving, we keep on ticking, even though we're hurting, we're in pain, and we don't even think that sometimes, especially as Black women, that we need to get healing for our pain, right? Because we were taught through generations that we just deal with it, right? And that we have the strength for it, right? And so self-care is something that's so new to a lot of us Black women because we just didn't do it, right? We were obligated to our families and our husbands no matter what. So that Black Justice Stain talk gives a little, goes into poetry and short stories of different profiles of women and just their struggles and what they're going through and how they go through relationships and how they love. And then my second book is Relive. And Relive was actually me coming through the divorce. And it was a process in which I felt like my spirit had died. And so I had to go through this process of reliving again, of really who am I? What do I love? What will I not tolerate anymore? Why did I accept the things I accepted in the past? What am I going to do? I really had to felt like I was restarting my life. So that has mostly poetry in it about the death of one's spirit. How is one revived again? How does one begin to love again? And I also get into little political issues about Black men, Black women, extinct. How, the society, not only did I feel like I was dying, but I also felt like we were thrust into a society that they didn't want Black men to live anymore,
Yeah.
Wow. I have a question too. A lot of what you said is a very similar situation, even for myself. Divorce, finding my husband cheating. I have 4 kids. For you to have gone through that and then write that book, what was the premonition you had before you said, I need to share my story? Like, where were you? What was your mindset? Where in your life were you when you had that vision to say, this is what I need to get out?
Yeah, it was really a catharsis process for me, really a healing for me to write the book. I'm a writer, so it came easy for me to come up with. But I remember when I was first starting writing this book, and I was just like, I'm gonna write this book, I'm gonna tell a story, but my intentions was wrong. Like I was writing it because I just wanted everybody to know how hurt I was,
Right.
And I remember sitting up one day and I was thinking to myself, this can't be the end of your story. The book is, I couldn't finish the book. I don't know what happened. And it was because I hadn't really forgiven yet. You know, if you see me and my ex together, you would think that nothing like this ever went down. We're friends, you know, he's my boy, you know. I mean, listen, we have a good relationship. He can come over for Christmas, Thanksgiving, we can have, you know, talk to my parents, everything. Wow. So I felt like, oh my God, I have not forgiven him. So I knew that I could not release this book with that bitterness, you know? Bitterness is something that's so funny because you can try to hide it in the closet, but it will like bust out some kind of way, you know? Like it will be exposed in any, forum that you step on somebody's toe and they'll scream on you, you know? What's wrong with you? Because they're just mad and they're just bitter. And so I felt like before I could release this book, I couldn't call the book Relive and still be spiritually dead, right? I had to go through that process of forgiveness and realize who I am so that I could relive. Like, I look back, I would never even want that life that I had before because I never took pictures of myself. I forgot how beautiful I was. I was always uptight and angry and screaming and it's a different person. I didn't laugh like I do now. So my joy had been like sucked out of me, And so it was something about doing this book that allowed me to release that anger, release that pain, but also show that you can get to the other side of that.
Interesting. And you know what? It shows all around you. The aura that you have shows that you're very, very happy, very open. And how could, for a sister who's watching, what would you tell her if she's stuck in a space and feel that she's very unhappy, that she needs to get over that hump? What would you tell her? What advice would you give?
That's a great question because in this time we're dealing with the coronavirus kind of thing, people we take for granted the people that are stuck in houses and abusive situations. Sometimes your abusers, it's we can live the lie and we can fake the funk when we going to work and you know what I'm saying, we going out with our friends and we can go to the bars and it's easier for us to wear the mask, right? But when we are home with the abuser because we're quarantined or something's going on, you're forced to look at yourself. And I always say, I'll say what was done to me, what my father said and my mother said to me, and I'll say to my girlfriends when they're in abusive situations. I never bring up the other person, first of all, because they don't matter, really. And the moment you decide to bring up the other person, you usually find out that the communication gets defensive, right? Because this person is always trying to take it. Usually abusive situations, the person is always going to take up for the other person or say, oh, it's not always like that. Oh, he loves me. Oh, he did this. They always find the good in this situation. But what I do is I focus on the person. I remember when I was going through something in my marriage and my father came to me and he said, tell me what I did to you as a father to make you think that it's okay to accept it. And so my father, who's always been there for me, always been great man, and that made me think, and so I say the same thing to my friends. What is inside of you that makes you think you can accept that? This is who you are as a person. This is who you are as a friend. You're loving, you're giving. So why do you feel like you can accept something that's other than what your spirit is, And so I always focus to the person. I always focus on their characteristic and who they are and what they deserve. And never what the other person is doing, because usually that just brings a bad result anyway, But I want them to think, even when I challenge my students, I want them to think, right? I'm asking them questions. So why do you accept this? Why? But this is not who you are. This is what you've done in the past. So I think that's my roadmap for people that are in abusive situations. Study who you are first, and sometimes when we don't know who we are and we don't love ourselves properly, we don't even see our own worth. So I always say, upgrade yourself, take yourself out. When I started taking myself out, going to take myself to the movies and
I
dinner,
know that's right. I do that all the time.
Duh.
I started taking myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm not that bad.
That's right.
I'm girl's fun over here, you know.
Uh-huh.
Somebody, you know.
That's right.
So looking at other things in a different way, I realized that I didn't deserve the treatment that I was getting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Fantastic. You brought up the coronavirus. I only have a couple more questions. I know we had you here for so long, and I know your time is highly sought after. Perfect. So you brought up the coronavirus, and I think you brought up an excellent point as it relates to people who are in these times. You're stuck in you're in quarantine. You're stuck in the house, potentially with an abuser, male or female, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, feelings and emotions are heightened because you're stuck there and it's nothing to do. What advice would you give to someone like that that's just nervous or terrified that if they breathe wrong that something can happen, they can be abused?
I always say focus on have an exit plan. Number one, have an exit plan. When you realize and you start living in your truth and you realize this is not where you want to be, have an exit plan. And sometimes that exit plan is not going to be pretty, and sometimes it's going to be scary, and sometimes you have to take risks and do things that you don't like. But I never have known someone who's taken great risks to fail, especially when you come out of an abusive situation. There's no way you can go but up. Because you don't even realize what you're in when you're in a bad situation, right? You don't even realize how much you're being abused. And I mean, when I got out of my situation and I was able to breathe, I was like, is this what air feels like? It was like another breath that I was able to take, and I was like, oh God, this joy I got, nobody can take this away. I would never go back to that place,
Hallelujah.
So have an exit plan. Live in your truth. Stop making excuses for someone who's abusing you. Stop doing it. Stop always looking at the positive things. Look at what it is. Make a list to yourself. Right. Don't feed into negativity. Right. What you feed is what you will become. Right. So even if you're in an abusive situation, feed the positive. If that means saying affirmations to yourself, talking to yourself, going in the bathroom, reading books, whatever you have to do. Find a space and a place that's yours, even if it's a corner of a room, and speak to yourself and tell yourself, I will get out of this situation because I am somebody. I deserve better. I am who God created to be. I am uniquely and beautifully made. Even if you don't believe it.
Yeah.
Hello. I know that's right. Geez, I'm about to go.
I heard you, sister. I do, because everything you're saying, and people don't know, I'm a very transparent person, but I haven't shared certain things in my life of that. And those are some of the tactics that I had to do to myself. Like you had those self-doubt conversations with yourself. Oh, you're not this and you're not good enough. And you have to talk to yourself and say, I am good enough. We're going to do this. I am going to make it. So definitely. And I know people that we are in thousands and some millions household, and somebody today that's in quarantine, that's going through that, needed to hear exactly what you said. So I thank you for that.
And I know that's something they were talking about, like the divorce rates could be going up after this quarantine.
Yeah, you're gonna be tired of them after this. Y'all done seen.
Divorces are hard, but sometimes they're necessary because nobody people. Listen, the church needs to stop it. We ain't telling people to stay in abusive relationships.
That's right.
I know that's right.
Okay,
I know that's right.
God. All right. That ain't God. Okay, and I know that. All right, and so. And in loving yourself is a process, just like forgiveness. So it takes time, but the more you seek it, one day you wake up and you will become it. There's a saying that says, don't just fake it till you make it. Fake it until you become it.
That's right.
I believe that.
Awesome.
I love that. So, real quick, just to stay on the line of the coronavirus, because it's so prevalent right now. Where are you located right now?
I'm outside of DC. So I'm in Northern Virginia area. Yeah.
Okay. So how is the climate there with the lockdowns, quarantines, all of that?
you know, it's so quiet. You know, I mean, really, to tell you the truth, it's been like really weird because I'm an extroverted introvert. You know, I like to be in the office and chilling too, but I want to be there when I choose to be there, not when I'm forced, right?
Right.
I like to get out and talk to strangers. I'm from New York City, so we're used to that. You know, that kind of environment. So it does feel weird, and you know, I just, you know, I've gotten so many phone calls in the last couple of weeks of people who are suffering, not only because they don't know where their paycheck is coming from emotionally, but suffering because they're forced to deal with their own truth, right?
Right.
You talking about like churches being shut down, right? I mean, people, we don't think about this, but people use churches as emotional healing, which is not always a great thing because emotion, anything with emotions can come and go, right? They're like
Right.
temporary emotional healings and not like permanent life changing moments for them. You know, and so now churches are shut down, and so everything that you can do to escape your reality is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think this is important, a time that you really take time to look at yourself, reassess your life, reset. I mean, it seems like we're going through a reset anyway. So
Right.
reset everything, reset your goals, reset your ambitions. I mean, even if you like everything that's going on in your life, you can always have a reset, you know, and you can always start over. It's never too late to change your story. And
I
so
love
I think that that's the message that people need to know during this coronavirus, whether you're in a dark corner somewhere crying your eyes out because you don't know which way to turn, or you live in life that you think to the fullest, or you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from, or you just scared you get sick. Don't live in fear, live by faith, and speak to yourself every day. Speak to yourself and believe it. It will manifest in your life.
I love that. I love that. A couple more questions. Lawrence says, I'm gonna throw you just a little curveball to just jump
Sure.
into another topic that we spoke to because it appears that I'm not sure. Are you wearing like micro braids right now?
Yes, I am, honey. I
Yes.
love my braids, honey, and I
I know.
and my
So
nappy hair. What? I can do all of them.
I know that's right. And so, you know, we had right before you came on, the Sizzle introduced a story that she spoke about. She does our entertainment news, and she talked about how Kim Kardashian has been getting some backlash about her braids. She called them, what did she call them, Lauren? Her say that again. Her Bo Derek braids, right? And so the world pretty much, of course, the sisters jumped in and was like, wait, they was about to tear a new one, right? And so she was said to again be culture appropriating,
Yes.
right? What is your thoughts about women who are not of melanin, right? They tend to want to look very similar to the sisters. What do you say about that? Do you believe it's a cultural appropriation? Do you believe that it's they just want to fit in? Do you believe it's just another style choice? What's your thoughts on it?
I definitely think it's cultural appropriation. It's been happening since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
The Kardashians, especially, do that all the time. I mean, do it. I mean, they don't want nobody that ain't no black man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, she has now mixed children, right? That are black, right?
Right.
So, she is, and in some ways she fit herself into a part of the culture. But listen, I think there's a thin line that people have to be careful with, because Kim Kardashian is not a black woman,
Right.
and when you get enough money and enough power, enough influence, you can convince yourself you whatever you think you are. But she don't got to go through half the problems that black women today have to go through just because of the way she looks. The way she looks. Okay.
Yeah.
So, honey child, go through that, okay? Okay.
So
Down, okay?
I know that's right. So they asked Brandy and her brother Ray J about what their thoughts, and Ray J kind of said that black women should be, what was the word, quote, thankful.
Compliment.
Yeah, black women should take that as a compliment. What's your thought?
Actually, she should be thanking us. It's the other way around.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I think, she doesn't give homage to the black women.
That's the problem with our black men, because if he answered like that, I got a problem with him, okay? Because he got a black mother, all right, honey? Okay, no. You thank us, okay? Because
Yeah.
you're
No, that's
the
right.
beauty standard for us. We are obviously the beauty standard for you, though.
I know that's right. I know. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. How about that?
Yes. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. We got to do a part 2.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We'll do it anytime. You're a friend. We always say you're a friend to the show anytime we interview. So anytime you want to come on, just send us a shout.
Where do I find your books?
Okay.
No, you have one right there.
I have one of them here.
Okay.
The other one's somewhere around here. Oh, wait, I have another one, Black from Scratch. You can find all my books on Amazon, though.
Awesome.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, this is a coffee table book, very thick, and has all Black people in it and their stories.
Oh, love it.
Yes, we have their stories are in here. We really try to focus on Black people. Excuse my nails. You know that the beauty salons are closed. So. Right now, it's okay.
That's funny.
We all
Yeah.
facing it. We look. Listen. We all facing it.
Over there. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay.
Let me see, Sizzle. Hold them up.
See this?
Like the growth, like
Like, are you kidding me?
Right, exactly.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that, so that's a good thing. So yeah, before we let you go, where can they find your book and everything, and how can they get in contact with you?
Sure. All my books are on Amazon. I also have my own website, chaletzwits.com. So it's spelled CHALETS wits, WITS.com, and it's all one word. You can find about all my products and things there. But I'm also very active on Instagram. So Chalet J Baptiste. So Chalet CHALET JBAPTISTE, and on Facebook also. So just look me up, look up my name by Facebook. I would love to connect with all you guys. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you, and it's one of those things, man. When it comes to like our people, I think that we have to always give a platform and always support each other, because that's how it works, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so I would implore you to follow all our social media in addition to YouTube, and when this go out, you'll see your episode on here, and we really appreciate you for coming. Is there anything else you want to say before we let you go?
I just want to say thank you. I love the opportunity. I love to see the beautiful Black men and women in the room doing great things. And remember that no matter what stage, age, position you are in life, it is never too late to change your story.
awesome.
I know that's right. And that puts the exclamation on the words, on a period, the sentence, everything. And we really appreciate you for coming down. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go. We're going to cut to a little break. And remember, this is WPPM LP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. And this is We Talk Weekly's After the Talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Warren Sizzle.
and the beautiful
Lady Sparkle.
and the beautiful. and we'll be right back. Y'all don't go to where we'll be right back after this. Holla. And Sizzle, give us some music a little bit. We'll talk over it. And thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming and talking with us a little bit. We really appreciate you.
Roll another one.
All right, so yeah. So we're gonna talk over this music a little bit. We let it play. We let everybody can take a little break, because we might have some, the copyright. You know how Facebook do. We Facebook Live and right now, so we might have some copyright issues on that. But I want y'all to get prepared. So what we got coming up next? You want to go right into the Sizzle?
She like the way that I rock. She like the way that I move.
Say that again.
You want to go right into the Sizzle, or what you want to do?
If she throw it back for
Okay.
No, so I guess we'll take this time to see who's following. We'll shout out a couple of people. Let's see. We had a lot of people coming in. We got Nadine on there. She says never too late to change the story. I know that's right. Nadine jumped on TC Caldwell. He said, "Yo, is that Stacey?" You know that's Stacey. You know what I mean? That's funny. Great actor. He been doing a lot of stuff anyway. For some reason, my phone had went out for a second, so I was losing a lot of different things, right? So we about to go back on in a minute.
Who asked? Was that me?
What's his name? TJ. Oh, man, you can see.
Oh, okay.
I got fast. Let me see. I forgot. TC. I couldn't see the face. But yeah, man. I mean, what did y'all think about that interview?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? When she talks about when she talks about the abusers in association with the coronavirus right now, and that's something that I never thought about. So when she said that, that was definitely an eye opener for me. So anybody that is stuck in the house right now and dealing with any abuse, you know, prayers up for them, man.
It's one of those things. Like, I mean, most people don't even think about that. You know what I mean?
I didn't think about it until she said it. I was like, oh man, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. So, that's one thing that we just have to, pay attention to, man, when it comes to this, especially as we talking about this. And right after this, we're gonna talk a little bit about the corona just a little bit, and then after that, we're gonna have a nice little conversation so we can get some information or give some more radio content to WPP MLP 106.5 FM, man. I'm gonna sound down
and
on
I
the
got
song.
some updates for y'all. I got some sports updates for y'all in regards to the coronavirus. So let me know when you're ready for those.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna go right into the sizzle. You wanna go into the sizzle?
The sizzle. I'm ready.
No doubt. One of those things, man. So, what do y'all think about this new, I guess, broadcasting from your house, your room? What do y'all think about that?
Right now.
What did you say?
I said it is what it is.
Yeah, a little different.
It's different. As much as I love y'all and I love our interaction of being together, I feel like it's important that we as a unit, you know what I mean, as a media outlet in conjunction with all the other, just joining the other companies and bigger media outlets that are doing this. I feel like that's important for us to kind of let the world see that we're also practicing social distancing and being responsible during this time of this pandemic. So while I miss y'all, I'm okay with it.
No doubt. All right, so we're gonna get right going to the sizzle. All right, ready for the sizzle?
Yeah, I'm ready for the sizzle.
Let's go into the. Can you hear that music right there? Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Sir, so this isn't Love and Relationships yet, Carl.
It's
not Love and Relationships yet, but love is still in the air amidst this pandemic. So last week we talked about COVID-19, the baby boom that would be popping off probably between December 2020 and January 2021. Wow. Well, some celebrities have revealed that they are expecting the pitter-patter of little feet and a new addition to their families. So actor comedian Kevin Hart is going to be a father again.
Yeah.
Aniko Hart, she is posted a picture of her cute little baby bump on Instagram along with the caption, "Baby number 2, in the midst of all this, we're still counting our blessings and couldn't be more grateful. Soon to be a family of 6. So Kevin Hart has daughter Heaven Hart, 15, and Hendrix Hart, 12, from his previous marriage to Tori Hart. And then, Kevin and Aniko, they had their first child together, 2-year-old son, Kenzo Cash Hart. So congratulations to them. And other celebrities have also announced their pregnancy already. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. I was kind of happy about that. I'm like, okay, Katy. All right, Katy. Meghan McCain. I was shocked, but she announced that she's pregnant. Everybody already knows about Sierra and Russell Wilson. And then LaToya Luckett, she just had a gender reveal and announced that everybody already knows about Sierra and Russell Wilson. And then LaToya Luckett, she just had a gender reveal and announced that everybody already knows about Sierra and Russell Wilson. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That threw me off. So, Joanna Man star Miguel Nunez, he was reportedly arrested for shoplifting. Now, according to TMZ, Miguel was checking out at LA's Ralph's supermarket when his credit card was reportedly declined. Instead of pushing his cart filled with groceries to the side, Miguel decided he was going to take his grocery cart filled with groceries and walk around that store. So Miguel reportedly returned back to the same store a few days later, but he was not allowed to enter the store, and police were called. So TMZ reports that Miguel was placed under citizen's arrest. Had arrived, they gave him a citation for misdemeanor shoplifting, and he was allowed to leave the store. So he gave his explanation of the story, and he said that when he was in there, it was a long line, and he was waiting to check out, and he got tired of waiting, so he left with the groceries, and he said that he planned to come back and pay for those groceries. Well, that manager said to him, "Oh, that you cannot do that. You don't get special treatment. You can't do that." So, of course, the Los Angeles police are not arresting for minor offenses. So he wasn't taken into custody. A lot of, due to coronavirus, a lot of police districts have agreed that they're not going to arrest for certain minor offenses. Yeah, they're just going to give like a citation or something like that, and then you'll have your day in court. So R. Kelly, he has petitioned a federal judge for release from prison while he waits trial due to coronavirus. So,
wow.
He real slick.
I can't with him. But according to USA Today, court filings by R. Kelly's attorneys state that minimal precautions to stem the spread of the virus behind bars has put R. Kelly's life at risk. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
Please.
So at Metropolitan,
listen.
He what? Oh my gosh. I don't have my laptop is not hooked up to power, and it's threatening me right now. But so at Metropolitan Correction Center, soap and sanitizer are hard to come by in the facility. This is what the attorney is saying. His life was put at risk. There's no soap and sanitizer in the facility that housed 700 inmates in these small 2-man cells and make it impossible to practice social distancing. So the facility stopped visitors from coming to the prison back on March 13th. But his lawyers are saying there's few protocols for screening for like other people that are coming, like guards, lawyers, and new detainees. Like there's like really no protocols for screening them. So the visiting floor has sanitizer, but the bottles on the one sanitizer that's there, it says staff only. So they're saying he can't even get to that. So also on the same floor,
Poor Robert.
He has no soap in there. So his lawyers believe his health is at risk because of his age and he has existing health issues, they're saying.
Oh.
So if Kelly is released, he will be living with his girlfriend, Joycelyn Savage, at a apartment in Chicago where he would be confined to his home under electronic monitoring arrest. And USA Today further reports that Kelly will probably have to persuade the federal judge in New York to release him also because they ordered that he be detained as well.
Wow.
So he's detained in Chicago, but the New York federal judge wanted to make sure he was detained.
I see him in the back. He's like, I want to go here too, Mama.
I just find it interesting that all these celebrities,
I knew
once they get in trouble, then they're all of a sudden sick.
Yes, Harvey Weinstein too, because he has coronavirus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we'll see if Bill Cosby gets sick.
I need a minute because I got
all of a sudden Bill Cosby was blind with a cane. Weinstein all of a sudden ended up with a walker. Now R. Kelly, he's sick. Like they funny.
Exactly.
They funny.
Exactly. My laptop get ready to die, y'all.
Go get the charger.
I know. Where's your charger? Yeah.
Can I just say, in reference to something else, I think when she started her sizzle and she was doing her baby announcement, I thought about that the other day. Y'all know how many people gonna be pregnant this summer?
Yeah,
December. December, you're gonna have a lot of December babies. December and January. Yep. A lot of Christmas babies.
A lot of marriages. A lot gonna come out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'm interested to see
I'm back.
how that pans out. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't have my charger plugged in already.
Listen, Sparkle, they say crime is down right now, but I got a feeling people stuck in the house with each other too long. It's gonna be some domestic.
Yes.
You ain't lying. You're gonna be coming to court with the citation. Arrest.
Yes. So I just kind of wanted to say all the not all of them, because there are more, but there's a lot of celebrities, athletes, and public figures who have been diagnosed with coronavirus. Rapper Slim Thug, Idris. Everybody knows Idris Elba and his wife Sabrina Dowry. Everybody knows Tom Hanks and wife Rita Wilson. Kevin Durant, Rudy Gobert, and teammate Donovan Mitchell. Scarface.
Face, yeah. I heard about Face.
Yeah, he just did an interview and talked about his battle with COVID-19. Prince Charles.
What? Oh yeah, I think I did hear that. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And Harvey Weinstein, we just said, Senator Rand Paul. Everybody knows Andy Cohen, but it's just crazy now. It's just crazy. And it's not a matter of like if, it's like when.
Right, right. And you mentioned that Idris and his wife, they said that when Idris got tested, it was possible that his wife didn't have it and she was supposed to quarantine separately and she chose not to and to get it. So people are talking about, well, if your man got it, or husband in that case, are you going to get it? But secondly, Oprah and Stedman they're quarantining separately. Wait a minute. Oprah said she is not taking any chances. He's in the mother-in-law suite or the guest house, and she's in her house.
Can I say something?
Listen,
can I say something? I just need to say this. Stedman, Idris. Okay? Ain't nobody worried about being all up on Stedman. But if I'm Idris, his wife, guess what? I'm not going nowhere. I'm right here. We're going to have it together.
Yes. Look, he done changed his profile picture to her face.
You want me to? My husband is Idris, and you want me to stop touching him, being around him, sleeping next to him? You crazy?
Yes.
Stedman, you go to the guest house.
What if Stedman called it? What if Stedman? No, I don't think he did. I don't think he said he don't want to be around Oprah.
You really? No, you serious? No.
I'd have been like, look, lock us up in here.
Yes.
So
I'm just saying.
It's crazy, man.
Girl, I understand we talk about men, but listen, if you had your choice between Oprah and Riri, I
Oprah who?
Riri, your girl Rihanna.
I said Oprah who?
Oprah who? You exactly. Oprah who?
Come on, man. No question.
Oh my God.
No question at all.
So you married to Rihanna. You going.
We getting it
quarantine
together.
Separate.
We getting it together.
Exactly.
She got enough money to make sure I'm Gucci. So do Oprah too, though. But I'm just saying.
I don't think money matter when you in that room quarantined.
It's all good.
It's
I'm riding out. You want to say I'm a ride or die? You know what I mean? That's funny. No doubt.
God.
No doubt.
Sorry,
man,
Sizzle. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can continue, Sizzle.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay.
Do we have an award? No award this week?
I mean, it's basically been the same thing. It's so many celebrities and athletes that are giving back to this coronavirus. You know, I was just going to shout out the Detroit Pistons because they've offered their new facility to do any testing. Yeah, and then it's so many people celebrities that are just giving back. So it's like.
Real quick, you guys, Vashti just said, if y'all had to be quarantined with your favorite celeb, who would it be?
Ray Ray.
Who would I want?
Any more questions?
Sheesh.
Oh man, I would say Omari Hardwick.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm not expecting that.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
What? Okay, she with that power, that ghost. What about you, Lady S. Dot?
Listen, I think I already gave y'all mine. Listen, it was no rat. Let's see here, compare my man to Stedman. No.
Man,
what about you, Spark?
Cause he's that he married. I'm thinking like, what celebrity
somebody who wasn't married?
Like he ain't quarantined already.
Listen.
All right, well, somebody single. Michael Ealy. Michael Ealy.
Which one is that? Ooh.
That's the one who threw them kids out the window in
okay.
I like the Morris Chestnut type Idris Elba. I can't think of nobody else. Idris.
Well, you said somebody single, so that
I know. That's why I'm trying to.
I'll take Michael B. Jordan for 200.
Yeah, he
young though. I'll probably go in jail afterwards.
Like a jump off. Like
I'll be in there next to Weinstein after that one.
The Me Too movement. This is crazy.
I just want to send a shout out real quick. Somebody just said they seen us on Growing Up Hip Hop again, so they must be airing that segment. So shout out to Growing Up Hip Hop, man. You know, we were, I guess, should I say lucky, to be in a space to, be asked
blessed,
to
man,
utilize
blessed.
blessed. I like that. We were blessed to, have them asked to utilize our content, man, because we was in a space at the right time, at the right space, right time, with the right content. And that's something special about We Talk Weekly that I like, that people are really starting to see the things that we're doing and valuing, the content that we're putting out and actually starting to follow us. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So I guess so we about at the hour and a half mark. We got about a half hour left, and we got some content. We can start actually jump into some conversation about this coronavirus. I think that's a responsibility and obligation that we have, especially as, pseudo journalists, so to speak, to be able to do our due diligence and our civic duty to talk a little bit about what's going on, not only with us, but some pointers, some tips, some things that they can do. We talked about this on our last show, but what's some of the things that you guys have been noticing, and from the last time we spoke about this and now?
I notice how quickly these numbers are jumping, and it
Yeah.
honestly is pretty scary. So, since I've been
Mm,
home
me
quarantined
too.
and watching the news every day, I remember when I shared with our audiences the link where they can go to and look at the map and seeing how everything was. I felt like just almost like 3-4 weeks ago, the United States was at about 35 cases. And I remember the
Hmm.
United States alone, 35 cases. And now the United States alone is has really, really high numbers where we're getting really close to, the Italy's, which is pretty scary. And for us being in, working out of Philadelphia, being in the tri-state area, and those numbers coming out of New York State and New Jersey State, and with us being really close to them, it's pretty scary because now we're in the the hundred thousands, not just those single digits. So, and it's happening rapidly. Just in our city alone, the numbers have shot up rapidly. So,
Hmm.
Yeah,
we're at 100. We're at almost 123,000.
God.
We've surpassed Italy. The United States has surpassed China. We've surpassed Spain. China was number one, followed by Italy. Now the United States has passed both of those countries. And in a matter of I feel like it's like 2 weeks. So when I say this is definitely getting worse before it gets better, is rather scary. So I just encourage everybody to just continue to be safe. Wash your hands. And as a reminder to everyone, this virus, this virus is staying live and active on hard surfaces like wood, metal, glass, countertops, marble, stuff like that, for up to 4 days.
hmm
And in the air for 3 hours. So if someone who's infected with the virus and they cough or sneeze in the air, it can circulate in that air with they're saying is that 6 feet space for up to 3 hours. So even if that person is long gone, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and then you walk through that area where that stuff is still circulating and you inhale it, then you can also become infected, which is why they're saying it's community now. It's not just, you don't need to know anybody, you don't need to touch anybody. So it's important that you be very careful if you go outside, to make sure that you're taking precautions in terms of masks and gloves and washing your hands. What I've been doing as a personal thing for me, aside from just washing my hands whenever I come back from the grocery store. Yesterday I went to the grocery store and a couple of my purchases were actually bottles like, vinegar or something like that. And because it survives on glass, I don't know personally if somebody picked that up and decided, you know what, I don't want this, and put it back, because we do that sometimes in stores. So what I've been doing when I come home, I wash my hands and then I take my Clorox and Lysol wipes and I'm wiping down all of my items before I put them away in my cupboard. So that's just one of the things that I'm doing to keep me and my family safe. And I just encourage everybody to do whatever you can and be aware of your surroundings. Be really aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, another thing I've been seeing too is that people aren't really taking this serious.
They're not.
This virus has no respect of person. It doesn't care about your age or anything like that. I just heard that an infant died, I think today or yesterday. It was an infant.
Mhm.
There was also a man that he just died. He was 40 years old. He went to a party and
Right.
contracted the disease from a party, and the next thing you know, he's gone. So you have to be careful, stay in the house. I've been seeing pictures on social media of people not practicing social distancing. They're grouped together, going out and still trying to live their normal lives. You have to take it serious. You really have to take it serious.
And
Wash your hands, and take precautions, because even like you can pick it up, like especially for your family members. You go around somebody that's elderly, and next thing you know, you pass it to them, and they're gone. Like there was 2 sisters that they died, elderly sisters. They died, I think, a day or 2 apart, and their families didn't even get to see their last moments together because they're quarantined and they're kept from their families and people. So this is just is very, very serious, very serious.
And you're so right, Lauren, because I just saw online as well that I think it was a principal in Detroit, and she was, I think, like 36 years old, some very, mid 30s, and she just passed away from the coronavirus. So and at least in my home, at first, my millennials weren't taking it as serious, but now they're starting to have anxiety. So now my children are really starting to feel like, oh, I'm watching this on TV and people are not, the people who are not taking it serious and having big gatherings. I think there's something else going viral that was in Philly. Somebody was at a crab shack and they were all out in the parking lot. Yeah. And it's like, okay, they don't really, the reason that they're saying that people that are not taking it serious is like, oh, it's the flu. It's a form of a virus that researchers don't understand how it's mutating. And it's to the point where if you contract it, have you even practiced safe things to try to subside how it can affect you? Because a lot of people who are suffering are the people that are elderly or have other pre-existing diseases, such as a mild asthma that you've always had, and then it's respiratory and it gets into your lungs and your lungs swell up and then your lungs are underwater, and then you can die. So yeah. I think it was who was the for Cardi B, the guy who was Love and Hip Hop. I think he was the one who used to be her DJ or something. They just
DJ Self.
Say it again.
That's
was it DJ Self?
DJ.
Okay. Well, he was just on Instagram and he was in the hospital. I think he had asthma or something, and then it just mutated in his body, and he's a young man, and he's like, I don't fall in the category of everybody that was dying, and now here I am as one of the examples that this thing is real, and it is. And until we get more research on how to make it, what is it resistant to, how to suppress it, there is no research for that yet.
Yeah, and then another thing that's a concern for me is the shortage of the ventilators. Like, what if it comes down to like somebody, a person of color and a person not of color, and then, of course, we're not going to know this, but they choose to give it to a person that's not of color. My mind is just going that far. But yeah, it's like this shortage, and you have to worry about that. Like if we haven't even, certain areas have not even reached their peak of, this virus, people being diagnosed with it, it's just going to get worse. And if they're saying like they had the shortage of the ventilation machines and we haven't reached the peak yet, obviously it's going to get to a point where those who need it, they're not going to have access to it. I know they said they're trying to, I think GM said they can do like 10,000 in 30 days or something like that. And then I also heard something too that they knew for a long time ago about this shortage, even before the virus came out. This form of the virus.
There are also researchers are saying that people who have survived the coronavirus, they're asking for them to give their blood so that researchers can see what it was that allowed their makeup, their DNA or whatever it is that allowed them to heal themselves or to heal their body. And then they're saying, hey, if we inject you with the venom, like you do with a snake bite, what happens to the people after that? They're paying people for this because there is no research. So just going to what Lady S. Dot was saying, do different precautions so that you will not bring that into your household.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are listening and not watching, we're actually pulling up the map from this is actually from arcgis.com that you can go coronavirus COVID-19. This is the actual map of the entire world and all of the cases that the virus has you know eh, have taken casualties and or just have gotten sick real quick. Deaths is to the minute. Total deaths in the US is 2,147. Deaths in New York City 672. Deaths in Washington 136. Deaths in Jersey 86. Deaths in Louisiana 70. 53 deaths in New York. US 32 deaths in Los Angeles, 31 deaths in Michigan, 30 deaths in that's I guess Suffolk, New York, 28 deaths in Cook, Illinois, 27 deaths in Nassau, New York, 27 in Jefferson, Louisiana, 25 in Santa Clara, California, 23 in Washington, 20 in Fairfield, Connecticut, 17 Dougherty, Georgia, 17 Michigan, 17 Wayne, Michigan, 13 in Fulton, Georgia, 13 in New Jersey, Bergen, New Jersey, 11th, and the list goes on. And I mean, it's a lot of casualties. I could keep going and keep going, but it's a lot of deaths that's happening. People are now looking at this and taking it serious. I know that the governor of New York said, you know what, I'm locking everything down. You could blame me. I don't care how you feel. I'm going to be responsible for this thing, and I don't care how you feel about it. We going on lockdown. Blame me, because this is what it is. It's that serious, and people need to really start taking it that serious. You can actually see this map if you go to wetalkweekly.com. If you're listening, go to wetalkweekly.com and you'll see a special tab or a special location for the coronavirus. You click into it and you can find the world map to the minute of all the casualties, the deaths, and all of the people who were infected with this dynamic and dangerous disease. But what they are saying, which is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, is that it's a weak disease, that it can be killed, but is very, very, very super infectious, even more infectious than the flu.
Someone
And
said they can't hear us.
say that again.
Someone said they can't hear us.
They can't hear us.
Yeah, I think it's on Facebook, so I don't know if that's on here.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, hopefully,
That's
let's see if they,
Bernie. Hey, Bernie. Well, she can't hear it, but
hopefully, if y'all guys, I guess if you guys can't hear us, put some let us know that you can't hear us. They're saying that they can't hear us, but I do want you guys to know, especially if you're if you're just a listener, that you can go to our website, wetalkweekly.com, and go to the coronavirus. We got a special location for that on the front page. You just click into it and you can find the up to the minute world's map of all of those who are either suffer casualties, have the virus, and or recovered. It's 1,000 people. I was almost, there's 1,073 people who actually recovered from the coronavirus. So it's not a death sentence if you get it. There is a possibility that you can recover from it, but the goal is not to get it in the first place. So if you continue to practice your social distancing, if you continue to practice washing your hands and staying out the way, pretty much you may be one of the lucky ones, and that's what potentially We Talk Weekly is doing. We're trying to stay out the way.
And build up your immune systems.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, this should be something that people are saying, hey, look, I really need to eat properly. I need to eat the proper vitamins and start to really take on those mental notes of building up a strong immune system.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's the time for people who you aren't into a healthy lifestyle. Now is the perfect time.
Now is the best time.
Lady was saying that Mrs. Chalet, Jean Baptiste, like she was saying, like I gotta use the accent. So she was saying that now is the time to start over, like start your life over, like all your goals, your dreams, create a vision board, and all the revamp your life. Now,
yeah.
Some people are not living until tomorrow. Like tomorrow's not promised.
That's
And
right.
all the people that wanted the world to pause so that you can catch up, it paused.
Yes.
And Vashti said lemon water. That's right. Lemon water.
Yes.
Every day.
Water
Every
is,
day.
it will cleanse you. It will cleanse you.
That's right. In fact, I would even recommend to make lemon water like your tea. Heat up the water. It's even better. Heat up the water. Put your
Hot
lemon
water.
in there. Squeeze your lemon. Yep, that's right. Hot water like tea. And squeeze your lemon in there and drink it. And you get your water intake. Also, a lot of people don't think about that. You get your water intake, get your lemon, and you could drink it every day. Every morning. I do it like 4 or 5 times. I just like lemon water. That's what I do. I mean, it is what it is, right?
And I want to say too, like you remember Trump was saying that he wanted the churches to be filled on Easter Sunday. Well, TMZ did a report and they contacted some churches in New York City. Those churches said we are not opening up. And despite what Trump is saying, we are not opening up. We are practicing social distancing. So go online Easter Sunday, put your Easter hat on. Let's see in the TikToks where they get all dressed up to go to the other side of the house. So you can see that.
That's funny.
There were also reports of
side of the house. So
there were also some reports of a pastor and some church members testing positive at one of the churches. So one of those churches that decided we're going to stay open, we're going to continue to worship, and they got hit pretty hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
With all of the COVID-19, what do you guys think? Like I seen, I was watching D Nice when he was DJing, and it was like over 200,000 people in that chat. Like, what do you think has come out of the creativity of, even what we're doing that we've never done before, that whole digital world? Do you think this will, go over after Corona's over?
I think it's a movement now.
Yeah, I do too.
Him a little bit because a lot of I've seen artists getting online, like even musicians, they're getting on social media, they're playing, actors are getting on there and they're performing, singers are getting on there and they're singing. It's like a move, like you said with the DJ, like he probably had more people viewing. Now people are really tuning in to social media, so it's like a movement now.
That's right. That's right. I think it's a movement too, but I want your guys to hold that thought because after the hour, we're going to go to a Corona conversation real quick. Shout out to Vashti because she's been holding this down. That's my baby girl right there. It's going to be, she said, yes, it's going to become a new normal for everybody. We got to understand what's going on at these times and embrace it and just try to, do what we can, because think about it. If the world does go ballistic and nuts and we lose everything, how would you survive that? You're going to have to think about what can we do, right? But I don't want to get into that right now because I want to jump right into Lady Esther got some information she want to get to us, and we only got about 10 minutes, about 10 minutes left. So give it to me.
Absolutely. I just wanted to give y'all some updates for the sports world. So let's talk sports real quick. And I told you before, I've been telling you guys that there isn't much sports because everything has been canceled. But I wanted to give you updates on the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, because all these things have been canceled. But the NBA suspended its operation March 11th due to the coronavirus. And as of now, they're considering a restart of the season in Las Vegas with a special tournament schedule that's going to be leading into the NBA finals. They haven't determined when that is going to happen yet, but that's what they're planning. They think that's what their plan is going to be. In terms of draft, there's some drafts going on. So with the women, the WNBA, they're going to continue to hold its draft on April 17th as originally scheduled, without a gathering of draftees, media or fans because of the pandemic. The commissioner will announce the picks live on a broadcast starting at 8 p.m. And they'll announce the top prospects taking part remotely. Same thing is going to happen with the NFL draft. So the NFL has decided to continue with their draft. It's still scheduled. The NFL draft is scheduled for April the 23rd through the 25th. Now, reportedly, the NFL is planning to use the April's NFL draft as a means of bolstering charity efforts to help those impacted by the corona pandemic. Adam Schefter has more details that's going to be coming up this week that I'm going to update you guys with, just around the league's primary goal to increase the COVID-19 relief funds, because they're trying to raise money as well. But it's originally scheduled to be held in Las Vegas as well. And they haven't figured out exactly how they're going to do it, but they just know at this point that they're not going to cancel it, and it's still going to happen. But that's going to be broadcasted. We know the NCAA completely canceled, no March Madness, so all the college stuff, all that is done for the year. The Olympics, the Tokyo Olympics have officially been postponed until 2021. That's not happening at all. Hockey suspended, the NHL, they suspended its 2019-20 season. The league also postponed its draft, combined, and award show due to the coronavirus. The NHL's chief medical officer is urging caution on the prospect of the NHL returning to play this season, including the idea of playing in empty arenas. They don't even want to do that. So right now they're not doing anything. In Major League Baseball, their opening day was scheduled for March 26th. That's been delayed, along with the cancellation of their spring training. So spring training has been canceled altogether. So these are just some sports updates for what's happening right now in regards to the coronavirus. So due to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, this is where we are in the sports world. So we're going to stay tuned and continue to keep you guys updated on what's coming up, what's happening, when these new dates or new things are going to be happening now that everything, for the things that's been postponed. So like I said, some things have been completely canceled. Other things have been suspended or postponed. So as those dates arrive to when those suspensions are being lifted, we'll keep you posted on that. So check our website for more information regarding your sports update.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for some of these men that's stuck in the house.
No sports.
Yeah. Anytime we start
watching old games, throwback games.
Listen, anytime we start watching ping pong, like it's bad.
Yes.
They got ping pong going and we watching it. Like it's crazy. Like it's and I like this whole UFC and the boxing thing. There ain't nothing going down right now. Nothing.
Wow.
But it's all good. It's a lot of hype though, but that's about it.
They putting up reruns.
I know.
I was like, wait, what's Tiger doing golfing?
Yes.
He's like, yo, where did this come from?
It's getting real out there, man. And you know what? I think people gonna start thinking like I think it gave a lot of people a lot of time to start to really look in the mirror and look at these networks and say, you know what? Man, we got to start doing more. I mean, because shout out to people like Kwame, who had a dynamic set today. I mean, he did like a live concert right now, which was dope. But then you had people like D Nice, who had almost 150,000 people watching his DJ show. So, yeah, close to 2. It was crazy. I mean, can you just imagine that a DJ can just kind of go live and have that many people watching? And I think it speaks to us to have the ability to reach that many people, because believe it or not, you have news segments that don't get that many eyes, right?
Yeah. Erykah Badu had her concert for $1, and that was because she wanted to pay her band, because they're not getting any money. She's like, I'm self-sufficient. I have money. I have to pay them who have to provide for their families.
Yeah, you see, Vashon said they're gonna have live concerts that'll cost, but probably less.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
Tory Lanez goes live every day with celebrities, and I have been seeing a lot of celebrities doing their Instagram lives, but they're doing it with somebody else, like what others do. So,
Yeah. But I mean, hers was $1. She is, 50,000 people, similar to like a D Nice thing. You got 50,000. You know what I'm saying? That you can spread amongst your band that they can pay their bills.
people going to be thinking outside the box.
Yeah, because those people don't get unemployment checks.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's unfortunate too, and thankfully it's a few different grants that went out to artists to be able to support themselves in this time, because and you know what, I want to save this conversation because we're about to go into our next kind of special segment called Corona Conversations, and I want to be able to have a full dialogue about that so we don't get too deep into it. But I do want to jump back into really quick, what did y'all think about, I know we talked a little bit about it, but what did you think about the guest that we had on the day before we close out?
Oh, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I personally loved it. You guys know about my background, and a lot of other people don't, but coming from a marriage that then turned abusive, and then being a mother of 4 children and being a professional and educated, all of those things, you tend to like weigh on what do you do, and then you sometimes say that, is it somebody else who's been in my situation, and how I need an outlet, or who do I call about this? Or everybody on the outside thinks you have this beautiful, elaborate relationship or marriage just because you are a professional or have children and all of those things.
Usually I never eat.
It's really other stuff going on in the background. So I think she has touched some people, or if not just one person during this quarantine that tuned in that really needed that, and that has been on the fence of leaving whatever relationship, if it's abusive of the marriage, or if it was a job, but it was something to say, hey, I need to reset and live this life that I have to the best of to the best that I can.
Yeah, and I also feel like on a spiritual level, for those people who are religious or spiritual, I feel like God allows you, or not necessarily allows you, but sometimes when you go through things, God wants you to use your story so that you could be a testimony, or your life is a testament, of what you came through, so that you can witness to somebody else to say, hey, this is what I went through, and this is how I came through. And it's like, for you, some people, they don't, they keep it to themselves, like, they're really private, or they just don't want others to know like how they suffered. But like, to have that strength to go through something and then use it as, use it as something to help somebody else overcome what they're going through. It's like, that's, Is that my time? I feel like
like with the Oscar music.
I like the Oscars.
I got cut off. It's my time.
You go. You finish your count. Go ahead, finish.
No, I was pretty much done, but I was just, basically, I think it's awesome for when people go through stuff and they use their lives and what they went through to help other people get through whatever they went through. So yes, that's it.
I just want to say that woman, she got God on her side. I don't know what kind of prayer she was doing. I don't know how she's been delivered, but the fact that she caught her husband in her bed with another woman. They are best of friends and they hang out, and that's her homie, and he come over to the house all the time and bust up her parents. I haven't been that delivered.
Yeah.
We Talk Weekly podcast is now on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox Speaker, Podcast Addict. These are Podcast Chasing now. And TuneIn Radio Podcast. Make sure you follow us on podcasts and binge listen to our shows. Download the little TuneIn app. Look for WPPMRP 106.5 FM and tune in every Saturday at 8 p.m. for We Talk Weekly. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at We Talk Weekly at @Lauren_Sizzle at Sparkle Prices 1 and at Charles Gregory. Subscribe to our We Talk Weekly YouTube channel. And if you're in Philly, catch us Monday night, 9:30, Comcast 66, Verizon Fios 29 and 30. Check this out. We Talk Weekly is now verified on Dailymotion, so you could go to dailymotion.com and look for who?
We Talk Weekly.
We Talk Weekly is now on higher7.com. Go to higher7.com and look for who?
We Talk Weekly.
And y'all get it together, please. We Talk Weekly is now on Business Bully TV. Go to Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and look for Business Bully TV app and look for who?
We Talk Weekly.
That's so much better. We Talk Weekly is now syndicated. You can find us in Atlanta, Birmingham, Chicago, Delaware, Houston, Jacksonville, Los Angeles, Newark, New City, Miami, Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and everywhere across the nation. And who do you look for?
We Talk Weekly.
Man, we out here like last year. We did a successful 2-hour show, little kinks, but we got it through. But if anything else, you know we love you. I want y'all to stay great, stay energized. And this is We Talk Weekly, y'all. We out here like last year. Holla.
Hey.